What's up, guys? Just wanted to do a quick video showing you my basic kayak setup for my maiden voyage. I'm out here at Rocky Gorge on the Scotts Cove area. I'm about to put it in over there. So yeah, I'll start with the Kayak Seat. I picked this up off of eBay for 35 bucks. I mean, you just can't beat that price. That's a hell of a bargain, especially for a beginner like me. I don't really need anything on the professional level. I mean, comfort is very important, but from what I've felt, the seat is very comfortable. I mean, I haven't been out on hours on end with it yet, but from what I've felt so far, it's very comfortable. It's nice and padded. I mean, it's well worth $35, I'll tell you that for sure. And all the higher end companies make this same exact seat. The only difference is they'll have their branding on there. So that's why I went with this particular one. So yeah, you can find that on eBay, 35 bucks. As soon as you type in Kayak Seat, it'll pop up. And then I got my Harmony Drifter paddle, of course, with the yak grips on there so that I can keep my hands nice and comfortable and don't get bruised up with that. Have a little fish grips on there. I want to do a quick shout out to One Rod, One Reel, because that is exactly what I'm running, and that's all that I have. It's one rod and one reel. So that's what I'm going to be taking out with me. I mean, this isn't going to be much of a fishing excursion. It's going to be more so me getting used to paddling and getting used to my kayak. So I got a few baits in that little tackle box up there, and I wanted to point out my Scupper Plugs. I put 2 back here, and I also put 2 under my Kayak Seat, mainly because I want to definitely keep my butt dry, and I want to keep this back area dry as well. There's 6 other scupper holes in this kayak in the front here. I'm just not going to worry about that area because it's most likely going to get wet regardless, basically from water dripping off the paddle, even though it has these water guards. And I mean, I've heard this thing sits pretty high out of the water and barely any water gets into the hole at all, but you know, some might, so that's why I'm not really going to worry about that area. I'm just keep those areas open. I haven't even put on the Scotty rod holder. I don't even know if it's called a Scotty rod holder. I just heard, yeah, it is. It says Scotty on there. Okay, yeah. So that is a Scotty rod holder. So I haven't even taken that off yet, or the bag that comes with the Perception. I've just kind of left those on there, but I'll do all that stuff later. So yeah, that's my basic setup. About to get out on the water for the first time and catch you out there. Let's catch some bass. Peace. Alright guys, first thoughts on the Perception. Earlier this week I went out to Shenandoah Crossing, and they had a lake called Lake Isaac there where we were kayaking because they were letting us rent them. So that was my first time kayaking about a few days ago, and it was really fun. It was on a cheap little kayak. I forgot the branding, but it's just one of those typical kayaks that you can imagine you'd get when you're just at a random lake and they just have tons of them for you to rent. So it wasn't that stable. Every time you lean to the right or left, you felt like you're gonna fall out. This one feels a lot more comfortable. I'm a lot more comfortable swaying in here. I don't feel like I'm gonna fall, and it doesn't make me nervous. And in that kayak, water was all up through here. My feet were, I mean, the water was about an inch. There's about an inch pool of water inside the kayak hole in that other kayak. This one, however, the water barely comes up to the scupper holes to even get in here. So when they say that this thing sits high out of the water, they are telling the absolute truth about that. Almost lost my rod. So yeah, the water does not come inside the hole at all. I mean, it's a little bit when you, well, not really at all. It really just doesn't come here. I mean, as you can see, it just sits kind of at the brim there. And so yeah, I mean, I really like the stability on here, and it treads nicely. It just feels like a tank, like they say. So I'm gonna go ahead and test out the stand-up assist strap here and see what it's like standing up and paddling in here. Oh boy, okay. I'm getting old. Alright, so I am currently standing in the Perception, obviously, as you can see. And here, water is seeping in a little bit through the front two scupper holes. But it's not much. I mean, this whole area is still relatively dry without water getting in here. I gotta get more used to this, but it's actually pretty stable. I can see myself stand up paddling in this for sure. I don't feel like I'm gonna fall. And I mean, I'm just starting this, so I know with a bit of practice, maybe after doing this for like 10 or 20 minutes, I'll definitely have the hang of it. But right now I feel like I'm gonna fall in. Like I said, that's just because I am new to this. This is my first time doing this, but my first thoughts are that this is really a very stable kayak to stand up and paddleboard in. Stand up and fishing, I'm gonna have to do a lot of practice with that before I get comfortable doing that. Because I can just imagine hooking into a big one and that thing taking me right off of this kayak. So, and now I'm going into the trees. Yeah, I gotta get the hang of this. But I mean, it's fun. The Perception definitely gets a A in my book. I have no complaints with this thing. It's super stable. It's definitely a tank. You can stand up and paddle in it. I mean, I love it, especially after being able to compare it to that typical kayak that I used. This is definitely a step above that towards the professional level. So first impressions of the Perception are excellent, guys. I really recommend this kayak. Now I'm gonna go ahead and paddle over to Brown's Bridge, which is probably going to be a 30-minute paddle or so. But I'm going for it. Catch you guys there.